pasture, run 'em in the pen, work 'em on the Sundays, do it all again. Race 'em in the sand, buck 'em in the mud, drip a cowboy's sweat, bleed a cowboy's blood.
I'm Zeke Thurston, 2016 World Champion Saddlebrock Rider, and you're watching the Pepper Stewart Show.
That is what he said, not me. He told you. I didn't tell you. You have tuned in again for another exciting or unexciting show. That's up to you. Depends on you, not me. Big show for you guys today. We got a great interview from a really good foundation local to the North Texas area. Got some good stuff about that we're going to talk about. Cattle news, a lot of good cattle news for you. We're going to talk prices. We're going to talk about meat. We got some cattle reports. Stuff that you're going to want to know. PBR is happening right now. The World Finals is taking place. It's going down in Las Vegas. We may mention that briefly, but also want to remind you, don't forget about coming to North Texas in a few months for the Global Cup. Just after the first of the year, it's going to be back here in North Texas. You're going to want to be here for that. Plus, we're going to be giving tickets away. So you want to stay tuned for that. A lot of local events going on. And in the odd news for you, the odd news is going to be good. There's a lot of good stuff in the odd news. You're going to like it. If you don't, that's your fault. So let's talk about what's going on the internet. Stuff is always going on the internet. And the rodeo community is in an uproar right now over a barrel racing video that took place out in Tatum, Texas. If you haven't seen the video, you don't know what I'm talking about. If you have seen the video, you know what I'm talking about. And it's just one of those videos where, I don't know, this lady was not treating her horse as she should. And it just happened to get caught on video and floated all around the internet. But what happens with that is when a video like that gets in the wrong hands or unknowledgeable hands, it makes it amplified huge. So that's what happens in the world of animal activists. And you get animal activists out there that are knowledgeable, and you get some that are unknowledgeable. There's a lot more unknowledgeable than there are that know. And so when you're looking at something from an uneducated view, it's really skewed. So I mean, think about if you were watching, say you're watching a rocket scientist do his math on paper. You have no idea what's going on. You see a bunch of numbers. You're going, how are you adding, subtracting, and multiplying? I have no idea what that means. I can do math, but I don't know what it means. That's the same thing when an activist looks at a video. They have no idea what's going on. They're like, look, I see animals, stuff's happening, but they don't know what's really happening. And so that's kind of how we get into these situations we get into. So I tell people all the time that they want to be an activist for something. Whatever you want to activist about, whether it's animals, whether it's guns, whether it's human trafficking, whether it's drugs, whatever you want to be an activist about, do your research, learn about what you're talking about, so when you want to have a conversation or a discussion with someone, you have an intelligent discussion. Because when you start throwing out things that are false, things that are not true, your argument becomes invalid. So if you want to talk about something, know what you're talking about, and it'll make your conversation go a lot better, and you might have the opportunity to be taken seriously if you show to be knowledgeable about what you're talking about. It happens in the rodeo world all the time. And it always goes back to the thing with the flank straps. Everybody thinks they're around bulls and horses' balls, and that's not the case. Because, for one, if they wrapped that around you, what would you do? You wouldn't be jumping around. You'd probably fall down too. And also, 90% of the bucking horses that are out there in the rodeo are female. So how are you going to do that? They don't have those. So, knowledge is key. Knowledge is power. You want to know what's going on. And you also want to know about these wild horses. So while we're talking about activism and activists, you got some stuff going on up north. And the wild horse, wild donkeys, wild burro, the numbers are outrageous. And they've got to be slashed. They've got to be cut down because there's just too many. And they wonder why there's so many. Well, there's so many because you got overpopulation, you got areas growing, you have places that animals used to go, they don't go anymore. And so what's going on is the U.S. Bureau of Land Management is saying that we're going to have to come up with a solution, whether it's adoption, whether it's sterilization, roundups, something's got to be done. They've estimated about 90,000 wild horses and donkeys, and they need to cut that down to about 25,000, just for the fact that there's too many, there's not enough food for them. So what's happening to a lot of these horses and a lot of these donkeys is they're starving to death because there's not enough food. What happens with that is activists, once again, they worry that the federal agencies are going to loosen the rules up, and then we're going to have horses sold for food again, and they don't want that to happen. They don't want horses to be sold for food. Back in 2018, the Congress blocked a proposal that would sell these wild horses to Canada and Mexico for packing, because all the packer plants that were in the U.S. were closed down, so horses had to go to Mexico or Canada. So with the regulations of the United States for packing plants is heavily regulated by the government. So it's really regulated. It's done humane on all that. But here's the problem. When you send these horses to Canada, when you send these horses to Mexico, they're not regulated. So you don't know what's going on. So you're sending these horses on these long trips, long journeys, and you don't know how they're being handled down there because they don't have the same rules and regulations we have in the United States. So that's one of the problems. The other thing is, how much does it cost? How much money does it cost to take care of these wild horses? Well, the Bureau of Land Management is asking Congress for $5 billion over the next 15 years. Think about that. That's about $4,000 per animal per year. So you got to bring population down, because that's what you're doing. You're paying for all these horses, and you got the activists out there that don't want anything happening to them. But how much money are you sending to pay for these horses? Every one of the activists out there that don't want these horses packed and used for food, how much money are you sending every month to feed these horses? I'm betting it's zero. So think about this. When these horses get captured on the range, through the entire lifetime of that horse, it costs about $50,000 per horse for long-term care. That's $50,000 per horse. There's a lot of horses up there. Back in March, they started an adoption program where if you would go out and adopt a wild horse, they had them all over. They had some here in Texas, some in Oklahoma, and they were offering you the opportunity to come adopt one. And what they did was, if you came and adopted a wild horse and kept it for a year, you got $1,000. You'd get $500 after 6 months, and I believe it was another $500 for 6 months. The other 6 months, I believe the other $500 came. So $1,000. So they did that for a while. That's kind of worked, but the problem is there's still too many. There was a story that came out a while back that we talked about, where there was an agency that was willing to go out. They were going to round up these wild horses, because here's the deal. Would you rather have these horses humanely put down, or would you rather them starve to death? Because that's the two options you got. You got to weigh the options. You're going to let these horses starve to death, or you're going to put them down humanely. And what they were going to do, as far as the humanely putting them down, is you were going to have an organization come out. They were going to collect these horses. They were going to put down some of these horses. They were going to pack them and send the meat off to homeless shelters, homeless places, to feed the homeless and feed the less fortunate with this meat. And a lot of people said, well, why would you want to feed horse meat to homeless people? Well, I hate to tell you, but if you're homeless and you're hungry, you ever heard the saying, so hungry I'd eat a horse? Maybe that's where it came from. I don't know. But that's the options that have been thrown around out there. So just think about these wild horses and what's going on up there, because, when you're down here on your place, whatever, you're not up there, you don't see what's going on. You don't see the starving horses starving to death. And that's what's taking place. So something's got to change. Something's got to happen. Everybody's trying to figure out what to do. Nobody knows. A lot of decisions, a lot of things going on. If you got a suggestion, reach out to the Bureau of Land Management. Send them an email. Call them up. Give them a solution. Send them some money. Send them some hay, some feed, something. Sitting around talking about it on your internet, tweeting about it, or typing in these groups, that doesn't do anything. Send some money. Put your money where your mouth is and see what happens. With that, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Charity Foundation with Lyn Walsh and Beverly Branch. Stay tuned. All right, we told you we were going to have a great guest for you guys today, and that we do. We've got Beverly Branch and Lyn Walsh from Carity, the Carity Foundation, and I'm going to bring them on and let them kind of tell you a little bit about what they're about and an event that they've got coming up in December. Are you there with us, Lyn? Beverly?
Yes, we are.
How are y'all doing? How are y'all doing today?
We are great. A little cold, but we're good.
That's always nice. So, want to talk about the Carity Foundation and if you can kind of tell us how that came about and kind of what y'all do?
Well, it came about because we have been very involved with helping people with direct patient services. We used to do trail rides before we did the celebrity cutting. So we did trail rides for about 4 or 5 years to try to raise funds to help people.
Okay, and you offer a travel mammogram service?
No, what we provide mammograms, diagnostic mammograms, and biopsies, and then depending on what the patient needs, we follow through with our physician services. We have a surgeon, and we work with an oncology clinic. What we provide is a routine mammograms, and then if they need anything else, if the patient is symptomatic, which means if they have a lump or anything, they need a diagnostic. So a diagnostic requires a physician's order. So we also get the physician order together from our doctors, and we get the diagnostic done. If they need biopsies after that, and we look at their financials, and we continue to work with the patients and hopefully get them through the entire process. And that's only the breast side of our foundation. We also work with men and with all types of cancer. So it's not just breast cancer, although that's the most prevalent cancer right now, and it's the one that everybody is really familiar with.
Okay, and if somebody's looking for your foundation to get involved with that, what's the easiest way for someone to get involved, to make a donation, to volunteer?
Well, the easiest way is to go to our website, which is carity.org, CAREITY.org. And all the information is there, and they can contact us and let us know if they're needing help or if they can help volunteer or make a donation or any of that.
Okay, and as you transition from holding the trail rides and the donations to trail rides and started with the cutting, how did the cutting come about?
Well, that came about because we were good friends with the executive director at that time of the National Cutting Horse Association, and Beverly's company printed the Chatter magazine for about 60 years. So we both had a relationship with National Cutting Horse Association. They needed somebody to take care of the celebrity cutting who would take the funds and make sure that they went back into the community to help people directly.
Okay, and with the cutting, what kind of response have you seen, over the years with the cutting taking place there in Fort Worth and the outpouring of support from the local community?
Well, it's been terrific. We have been able to bring in big name celebrities. I mean, all through the years, we've had names like Joe Montana, Brad Paisley, Billy Ray Cyrus, Tanya Tucker, Lynn Anderson, Travis Tritt, and a lot of big name celebrities, and they all come in as volunteers. We've never paid a celebrity. The National Cutting Horse Association has donated the entire venue, and this will be 25 years. The cattle are donated. The trainers and the horse owners all donate their time and their horses. So it's a great community event. People in the community have learned more from the Carity Celebrity Cutting about cutting than any other way, because a lot of them have never experienced it. So we also introduce cutting to the community.
Okay, and then this year, coming up in December, you've got pretty much an all-star cast of folks coming out to cut, and you're bringing in some honorary co-chairs. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, actually, Taylor Sheridan was in last year as a celebrity cutter, and he was very impressed with our programs for cancer patients and wanted to be involved again this year. And we met Taylor and his wife and asked them if they would like to be honorary chairs, and they agreed, and they have really done an incredible job by bringing in cast from Yellowstone, by putting together some dinner parties, by bringing in Paramount Studios. So this has been extremely helpful to our patient services.
And for the folks that are going to be looking at headed out to Fort Worth for the event going on, what kind of lineup do you have? Not as far as the cutters, we've got the cutters, but as far as you've got concerts, trade shows, what all's going on that day?
Well, we have a VIP dinner for our sponsors that come in, and it takes a sponsorship. Each sponsor gets a certain amount of VIPs that they can come in to the to the dinner, to the VIP dinner. Then we have the cutting event, which starts at 7. Then after that, there is a concert, and Sonny Burgess and Jolie Holiday Burgess are the lead for the concert, and the entertainers who are in the cutting usually come over and participate in the concert. So, and that's a separate event.
Okay. All right. And so if folks want to look this up and get tickets, if they go to carry.org, can they purchase tickets for the December event?
Yes, they go to the event page,
okay,
and then there is a place to buy tickets right there. It'll send them to a link to buy tickets, and there's the different kind of tickets. There's a $20 general admission ticket, which gets into the Coliseum and sees the cutting, just the cutting event, which is in the Will Rogers, and all the celebrities will be in there riding horses or participating in some way. And then after that is the sponsor concert. There's a separate ticket for that. It's $150 to have a general admission ticket and then a reserved concert seat. Unless they're a sponsor. And so someone can buy an individual seat for $150 and get into both events, the cutting and the concert following. There's also box seats available, but they'll see that as they go in and see the different ticket options.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, because, I mean, this is our 25th year for the Carity Celebrity Cutting, and to have that Yellowstone cast of, if you've watched Yellowstone, you see the character Rip, he will be there, and Mo, who is also going to be there on the cast. And then, of course, I have Tom Watson, the famous golfer, and Frank Hannon from Tesla, the band. Cody Johnson is going to be making an appearance. Jay Novacek, Jeff Hammond from... who's a famous NASCAR announcer, Jada Dreyer, Malone, Katie Keeney. So we'll have, and Dan Evans, of course, he's a double amputee. He lost both legs in Iraq, and he's a very special man who'll be coming and riding. So we have an incredible cast. We're so excited this year for the 25th to make it just a really great show. So our ticket sales are going well. People are excited about it, and all the money does benefit our direct patient service program. So thank you for giving us this opportunity to share what we do and a little bit of how we do it and what we have where people can help.
Thank you. Time for cow stuff. Everybody likes cow stuff. Cattle news for you. I'll just tell you right now, the market is terrible. The market's so bad. I went out and picked up some cows at the local market, and I'm telling you, I was buying cows for 20 cents, 25 cents a pound. So if you're needing some cows, go buy them right now, because now it's time to buy them. If you got plenty of hay to winter them, because it's low. But let's talk about this. We're out here in Texas, Winnie, Texas to be exact. You've got 61 cows still missing after escaping in a freak accident. This happened this week. At least 10 wrecks have been reported after 150 to 200 cows got loose Wednesday morning. The officials say they still got 61 to find after they got loose in this accident, which the highways and streets of Winnie and Chambers County look like the Old West, as volunteers on horseback tried to wrangle cows on the major roads on even I-10. The Winnie Ranch owner, Mr. Edwards, told the news that his cows were spooked around 4 a.m. and ran through the wooden fence. Now, I'm wondering, was he up at 4 a.m. when they spooked, or they spooked and woke him up? What could have got after him? Nobody knows. My guess is if he had them up in the lot, getting ready to haul them, maybe somebody was trying to steal them, and they got spooked and ran. I don't know. That's just speculation. Some of the cows made it several miles before they got caught. There was some video out there on Channel 12 News showing cows roaming the streets and backyards before the sun came up. Dozens of volunteers, as well as Chambers County deputies, Winnie firefighters, Sour Lake Police Department officers, were all working round the clock trying to round up these cows. The deputy said at least 10 crashes have been blamed for the cows. There was multiple calls of cows roaming the highways, 73, 124, and I-10. 15 to 20 cows have been found deceased on the roadway throughout the area, possibly due to car versus cow. No injuries to the people have been involved in any of the accidents. There's a parking lot near the Market Basket and the Dairy Queen, which is also known as a Texas stop sign, off of Highway 124, and Winnie's been used as a staging area for volunteers. The Cattleman's Kitchen of Winnie, Texas is supplying lunch to all the volunteers, so that's quite a mess right there. Let's go up north. Let's go north. Let's leave Texas for a moment, because this is random here, so we're going to throw it at you. Cattle owners in Carroll County are watching their herds close. A farmer outside Carrollton reported that over the past 2 months, 3 of his cows suffered severe injuries. One of the animals had to be euthanized. The Carroll County Sheriff said that evidence suggests the injuries were inflicted by a human. The vet's opinion was that the cows were kicked, possibly by a steel-toed shoe or a boot, and the cows were beaten. Investigators said the cows that were targeted were being raised by the farmer's child as part of a 4-H project. So did you have some rival 4-Hers not wanting to get beat by these cows, so they beat the cows? See, these kids work with them to get them ready to show. They're very attached to these animals, and for somebody to do this is terrible, is what the sheriff said. The investigator said that after the first 2 cows were attacked, the family put up cameras as a deterrent. The suspect then covered the camera before attacking the 3rd cow. So whoever it is knows something about something, because they covered the camera. The detectives aren't sure if the perpetrator has specific motives for targeting the cows, or if the crimes are just strictly acts of cruelty. To me, it sounds like targeted attacks. It sounds like you got some jealous kids out there. What it sounds like to me. They don't know of any enemies that they've got, or problem with anybody that they know of. And as news as the attacks spread, other farmers are preparing to defend their property and their animals. It's the farming community that has everyone on edge, keeping their eyes out for what is going on. The family whose animals were targeted were often rewarded for information leading to the arrest, conviction of those responsible. If you know anything about that, call the Carroll County Sheriff's Office. It's a 330 area code, so that's up north. All right, what did you eat for lunch? Did you eat some beef? Did you not eat beef? That is the topic of discussion everywhere, and I don't know. I eat meat. I eat beef. I eat chicken. I eat fish. I don't eat it every day. I don't eat it for every meal. I may go a day or two without eating beef. So it's just all about your diet and how you want to eat. People ask me about that. I say Mediterranean. If you wonder what kind of eating habits I do, it's kind of like the Mediterranean diet. That's kind of what I'm looking at. It sounds like it's foreign, but it's not, because there's meat and fish and stuff involved, but it's good. Salads are good as well. You can always eat a salad. Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat. All right, there's a big deal going on about this Beyond Meat. And what's going on is there is a coalition for the cattle industry called Center for Consumer Freedom, and they took out a full-page ad in the newspaper, the U.S. newspaper, to let consumers know that plant-based meat subsidies are ultra-processed. They're just trying to tell you that if you're eating fake meat, it's overly processed meat, and you really want to dive into what's in it, because you want to make sure what's in there. Because if you're eating these lab-grown meats or these fake meats, there's a lot of chemicals and things that are in there. So if you're eating it for nutritional value, you're better off eating regular beef. And if you're eating it for your health, if you're eating these foreign foods because you don't like the slaughter of cattle, you don't like animals being eaten, then you eat that stuff. It's not good for you, but you eat it because of there's people like that. You have vegetarian folks, you have vegan folks, and they eat different things, and they eat it because they don't like livestock, they don't like animals being used for food consumption. So they don't want to eat it, so they eat fake food, which that's fine. That's up to you. If you want to eat fake meat, that's fine. Go eat all the fake meat you want to. I don't have a problem with what you eat. Eat what you want. I'm not gonna go hold a sign in the street and waste time telling you what to eat and not to eat. I don't care. Eat what you want. So anyway, what's going on with this is they're trying to get the labeling under control to where you're not trying to trick consumers, because that's what they're claiming. They're trying to trick consumers, which comes back to Velveeta is a processed cheese. It can't be called cheese. It's called Velveeta. If you look at it, it's called Velveeta. It's not called Velveeta cheese. It's a processed cheese, which is a processed cheese that tastes like American cheese. That makes sense. So don't call it what it is. They've been fighting this ever since. I've got a video out there about the almond juice that I put out, I guess a couple years ago, about almond juice. It's almond juice. It's not milk. You don't milk an almond. You don't do that. It's juice. You squash it and you make juice. Because do you drink apple milk? No, you don't drink apple milk. Do you drink orange milk? No, you drink orange juice. So why in the heck would you drink almond milk? It's not milk, it's juice. So just call it what it is. And that's one of the food labeling things they're having an issue with, is trying to do that. So now they've thrown the almond milk into this, which is not almond milk, it's almond juice. They've thrown that in there, and now they're throwing in sausage. What does sausage mean? Because you've got pea protein made sausages that's called sausage, but it's not meat sausage, it's pea sausage. So what do you call that? Possage? I don't know what you call it. So that's what they're trying to fight right now, is the labeling. So as far as consumers go, just know what you're getting. Pay attention to where you're shopping and what you're eating, and then you won't have to worry about being tricked. Because I went on the website for Beyond Meat, I went on that website, and I scrolled up and down and all over trying to get the ingredients for what's in those plant-based burgers. And it's very vague. It's very vague on what's in there. There's a lot of asterisks, but the asterisks, no matter how many times you click or how far you go on the website, you don't get all the ingredients. So you got to wonder what's in there, because you got to put something there to color it. You got to put color in there. You got to put this in there, that in there. And if you want something that tastes like meat, why don't you just go eat meat? I don't get it, but that's just me. I do eat salads for lunch. That counts without meat in it. Cattle markets. What is going on in the market? Like I said, prices are down big time. Let's see, the processing margins remain generous, and packers will return to the cash markets to add inventory at higher prices. The sale volumes in the cash markets last week for the 15 to 30 day period almost doubled. The cattle owners are pricing most cattle from about a 119 to 120, but the packers are hesitant to show activity unless the cattle priced are back priced with last week. Last week's prices, they were $113 to $116 live and $180 to $182 dressed. Depending on the sales level, prices were $3 to $5 higher. In the South, packers paid $112 to $2 higher. The mandatory price reporting refuses to report over-the-top sales for Monday, helping packers to keep the sales in the dark. Why are they doing that? I don't know. A few of the sales reported were at $115 in the North and as few as $182 dressed. So prices are down. So you can feed them on all winter, you can down them, or you can go buy some if you need to get some. That's your cow stuff. What I'm going to do, take a break, come back with PBR.
The Professional Bull Riders returns to Arlington, Texas for the biggest event of the year. 6 teams, 5 countries, 1 global cup. Be there as the best bull riders from across the globe battle it out in the ultimate expression of national pride. The WinStar World Casino and Resort PBR Global Cup USA, presented by Monster Energy. Only at AT&T Stadium, February 15th and 16th. Get tickets at SeatGeek.com.
Time for the odd news. Stuff we want to tell you that you don't hear anywhere else. If you do hear it anywhere else, that's not my fault. Stuff is going on. Odd things happen all the time. Some find it odd, some find it interesting. And with that, I've got a stack of interesting articles for you. And let's kick it off with this one right here. Let's talk about this guy. The library in North Carolina at the university were confused when dozens of people in Spider-Man costumes flooded the library for a brief stunt. Video recorded and posted online, which everything's posted online, by these 2 students shows the Spider-Man jumping around tables pretending to shoot webs, with some of their superheroes pretending to type on computers and talking to students while they're studying. The Spider-Man stunt only lasted a few minutes before they scattered. The reason behind this, nobody knows, but it was close to Halloween. University police said the incident was not reported by the students and does not appear that anyone was in danger. No one was in danger. But I will tell you this, if you know about Spider-Man and you know about Christmas time, Dallas On Air, the local studio in Dallas, Dallas On Air does a fundraiser every year for the local community for those in Spider-Man attire. You're like, what are you talking about, Spider-Man attire? Yes, Spider-Man and Spider-Woman travel throughout the Metroplex in Dallas handing out gifts to children on Christmas. You want to help it out? Go to Dallas On Air on the interweb net, find it, look it up, and you can make your donations right there. Or you can put a message in a bottle. It might take a while to get here. Don't know how long it's going to take. This one only took 21 years. This is always interesting to me when these stories come up because I find this fascinating that somebody takes a message, writes a note, sticks it in a wine bottle, corks it, chunks it out in the ocean, and just says, let's see what happens. Where's it going to go? We found a few of these stories over the years, and I think it's neat every time these pop up. And this is what happened in Hawaii. A team of researchers searching for monk seals. Monk seals? Is that like a monk? The seal of a monk, like you stamp an envelope with a seal? Or are there seals in the ocean that are monks? And if there are, do they wear robes? There is a Hawaiian island, and on this Hawaiian island, they found a message in a bottle from 1998. Seems long ago, but it's not really that long ago, but it is long ago. Washington State kindergarten class. The researcher assistant for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA. If you ever want to know about weather, go to their website, type in your city, and get accurate weather information from NOAA. I like watching that radar sometimes. They said in a post on their website that the researchers were on the remote Bird Island when they spotted a bottle at the high tide line on the beach. Nothing special about that. There's trash. They find trash and stuff all the time. But this one was different because they could see something was inside. The bottle turned out to contain drawings, messages, and a photo from Miss Mary Lee Johnson's kindergarten class in North Bend, Washington. A typed message in the bottle was dated from June 15th, 1998. It goes on to include a question from each student in the class. Nick wanted to know if we have any gold. Aaron wanted to know if you like cats. And Tyson wanted to know if there's a volcano near us. They said they were able to contact Johnson, who explained her husband had dropped the bottle into the ocean while sailing in 1998 in the Pacific Cup race from San Francisco to Hawaii. Wait a minute. Where did he drop this bottle? Did he drop it in San Francisco when he left? Or did he drop it off in Hawaii when he got there? The research said the bottle was likely carried to Bird Island from the North Pacific, created by trade winds and the Earth's rotation. They've been corresponding with Johnson, and the pair might be meeting in person soon in Hawaii. Through the emails, they've learned so much about the students, who are now 26 years old. What? 26 years old? Dang, now I really feel old. Because I left high school in 96. So that's a long time ago. Now, that story just made me old. Let's go to another story. Texas. And deer. Exotic deer, by the way. I won't get into deer hunting because I don't want to upset all the deer hunters. I won't discuss how none of you know how to hunt except for not hunting. Because throwing out feed every day at the same time, feeding them at the same time every day, and then you go dress like a tree and go hide in a box and shoot one when they come to eat at the same time they ate every day, and then you're all surprised you shot a deer. Why are you so surprised? They do that every day. So anyway, I know I'm gonna get tons of emails again like I do every year, because everybody talks about how much money they spend on deer leases and going to get a deer and all that, and the conservation and the population control. I get all that, but I just still think it's funny. It's funny to me. Go out there and hunt like real men in the old days. Just walk around till you see something. I don't hunt like that. It's too cold. I don't want to sit outside in 30-degree weather staring at it up. Anyway, all right, let's go. Texas. Exotic deer spotted running the loose in a residential neighborhood. Longview police and animal control officers were out searching Wednesday for white fallow deer. The species is native to Eurasia. I thought that was like a planet. That's Uranus. After the animal spotted running through the Wildwood neighborhood, Gregg County Game Warden Todd Long. Now, if you're a game warden, your name is Todd Long, and you work in Longview, is that a coincidence? The buck's antlers looked a lot like a reindeer rack, and he's white. Long said authorities are hoping to tranquilize and relocate the animal. He said the deer may have escaped from a ranch specializing in exotic game. Okay, the owner of the deer has not been identified. The game warden said the authorities might have to kill the deer. Why? In which case, the meat would be distributed to needy families in the area by local agencies. I don't know. Some deer hunter will find it, and you'll see it on Facebook. They'll be holding it up. Which reminds me of a deer story. I guess it was a couple of weeks ago. We were headed to Elkhart, to the horse sale in Elkhart, and traveling down through 19, you have a lot of those game preserves and the big high fences and things. And it was dark, and about 7:30, 8 o'clock, something like it was dark. And the truck in front of me just swerved crazy over the side of the road and around. I was like, what in the world? And then when I got up, because I was pulling a trailer, so I had to swerve around too. And in the middle of the road was an axis deer. The spotted, looks like a Appaloosa deer, the spotted deer, standing in the middle of the road. I was like, what in the world? Where'd that come from? Never seen that before. And so, of course, like everybody else, we Googled it on the way to see. But that was just pretty neat to see. You know, a big old axis buck with a huge rack. I'm sure somebody will be looking for that. And standing in the middle of the road. I think he came from a game preserve just for the fact that he was standing in the middle of the road and wasn't scared of the traffic. If it had been a wild deer, I think he would have scattered. But let's talk about this. Star Wars has a new movie coming out, I think, at some point. I saw an advertisement for something about Star Wars. But anyway, you got a battle going on, and they estimated that 5,000 people had a duel at a Michigan hockey the Michigan hockey team's attempt to break a Guinness World Record for the longest or the largest battle. And you're like, a large battle? Battle what? It was a lightsaber battle. The Kalamazoo Wings, Kalamazoo, it's in Michigan, so I guess you could be up there in Kalamazoo. The Kalamazoo Wings celebrated their Star Wars Night event by leading the crowd in a lightsaber battle that features fans using their blue and red lightsabers to battle in the style of Jedi and Cat. No official numbers were released by the team, but the game was sold out and the stadium holds more than 5,000. So they figure if everybody had a lightsaber and everybody came in, there was 5,000 people. The video and photographic evidence from the event is being submitted to Guinness, and the officials said they expect to hear back within 2 weeks regarding whether they successfully broke the record for the largest lightsaber battle at a sporting event. Okay, so you got to think. The largest lightsaber battle at a sporting event. How often do lightsaber battles break out at a sporting event? Well, here you go. The current record is 3,860 people, and that was set at Berkeley Riverfront Park in Kansas City, Missouri in May of this year. So, apparently 3,800 battle was not enough. They're going to go for 5,000. I had no idea there was such world record for lightsaber battles. I wonder if they have a record for lightsaber battles in parking garages, or is that just swords? I don't know. Did you play pinball before? Anybody ever play pinball? These Guinness World Records are getting ridiculous. Everybody wants to set a record for everything. So this guy in Wisconsin, which is cold up there, so you ain't got anything else to do, he broke a Guinness World Record by playing pinball for 32 hours and 2 minutes. He only had a 5-minute break every hour to eat, drink, and use the toilet. So, in these 5-minute breaks, did somebody else play to keep the ball going, or did the ball, that's what I want to know. Was it one continuous ball? Did he play one ball for 32 hours? Or did he play a lot of balls? Ron Clancy, the owner of this amusement center called Bounce and Fling in Milwaukee, used a single pinball machine for more than 32 hours during the week to break the record and raise money for the Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. He said he spoke prior to his attempt with Wayne Johns, who set the previous record for playing for 30 hours and 10 minutes. Okay, that's only a 2-hour difference. I think this other guy may try to come back and outdo it. He was full of encouragement and gave him some good advice. Well, what advice could you tell him? Just keep going, don't stop. We also traded barbs. At one point, he said he'd be fine if I decided to quit at 30 hours and 9 minutes. So I guess he really didn't want his record broke. And he submitted it to Guinness World Records, and he had accomplished his goal. So I want to know, I'm guessing that's a lot of ball play. So his 5-minute breaks, he got a break, 5-minute breaks every hour, or I think it said every hour, 5-minute break. So when he took this break to go use the toilet, I wonder if he had a gold toilet, because that would up the ante with the world records. Because a Hong Kong jewelry company is exhibiting an expo in China and unveiled a golden toilet with 40,815 diamonds embedded in the seat. The Coronet jewelry brand, owned by Aaron Shung Jewelry, unveiled the gold toilet Monday at the second China International Import Expo in Shanghai. The toilet is made of mostly gold with a seat composed of bulletproof glass with 40,815 diamonds embedded in it, a total of 334.68 carats. Cornette said the toilet is scheduled to be inspected by the Guinness World Records on Wednesday to determine whether or not it qualifies for a new record. The most diamonds set in a toilet. What? This would be the 10th world record for diamond toilet seats? And which was for the 10th record for the Cornette. Okay, so all they're about is setting records. Okay. They previously captured titles including the most diamonds set in a watch. So apparently this jewelry company has nothing better to do but sit around and try to figure out ways to break Guinness World Records. That, I don't know. That's all I got. That's all I've got for you. That's it. There's nothing else for you other than you can go to pepperstewart.com, look around, wander around, check out the t-shirts. We updated some of the new designs. We got some new hoodies out, some new shirts out with different designs on them. Check it out. We had a bunch of those go out about 2 weeks ago. Somebody jumped on and bought some hoodies and a bunch of shirts and stuff. So check it out. Look around. While you're there, buy a t-shirt. Also, check out the livestock market reports. They were updated about twice a month. They're updated more when the prices are good. Right now, they're kind of slacking on updates just for the fact that the prices are terrible. Till then, we will see you on the next one.